The modern education system, a testament for the development of public schools throughout the history of America. A great system that cultivates the minds of future generations and many after. But to know what made it great, we have to dig back to our roots and delve into the history of the common school system.
What on earth are you waiting for? Have you forgotten how to write? Then use the tools in front of you!
In the early 19th century, education was a privilege for American people only. Only people of wealth and status had access to it, and all the other kids, which happened to be the majority, had no formal education at all. They all came from middle-class worker families and didn't provide them the opportunity to receive an education.
Because of this, there was a huge divide in society, where only a few had access to the knowledge and skills necessary to succeed in life.
The common school was created in response to this inequality. Reformers of the system believed that the school should be available to all, and not just the fortunate few who had the resources to learn.
The reformers saw education as a key to unlocking the potential of all children, regardless of their background or status. They believed that the growth and stability was spurred from the influx of well-educated population.
One man in particular helped the Reformation greatly. Horace Mann was a key figure in reforming the education system. Mann was a senator and lawyer for the state of Massachusetts. He was prominent in the reformation of education and was even regarded as the father of the common schools movement.
Mann was a revolutionary visionist. He saw the importance of education and how vital it was for a more equal and just society.
He saw the school as a way of bringing kids together and forming bonds and unity, in hopes that it would translate into society when they grew up. He brought together kids of different backgrounds, and by doing this, broke down the barriers that divided society.
Mann saw public education for an avenue for social advancement. One of his many goals included rescuing students from the influence of parents who failed to instill proper discipline. Not only that, but there was a silent curriculum established that made students obey authority, promptness, and attendance, that prepared students for work in the new industrial economy. The students were training free individuals who internalized self-respect.
There was constant opposition from parents who didn't want to surrender the moral education of their children to teachers and bureaucrats. There was also constant tension between the North and South. The North advocated for this tax-supported school system, which in turn gave job opportunities to women. The South, however, disliked it since they had many slaves and didn't want them to give them an education. This in turn staggered the education for many children in the South.
His efforts eventually established the first common school in the 1830s, which provided free universal education to all kids, regardless of their background and status.
Even women were receiving an education. Before, women barely had a chance of education, but when Horace Mann came about with his common school, more women than ever were receiving an education.
However, as sex segregation became less of a problem in schools, racial segregation became more relevant. And it wasn't until after the Civil War where state-funded public schools were available for both Black and white people. Despite that, there are still many instances of racial segregation in schools.
The establishment of the common school was a major milestone in American history. It marked the beginning of a new era of education where education was no longer for the privileged few, but for all. It paved the way for the public school system, which has become a cornerstone for American education today.
All right, children, we will continue with our writing after break. You may make your way outside in an orderly fashion.